Getting that shimmy. What's up? Hey, so I'm going to talk to you guys about land. Man, I feel like I've got all this awesome shit in my head that we don't communicate enough to you people. So I think I'm sharing the screen correctly here. What you can see is early stage environment, zoomed out view of what will be Duara, so small part of the Boerlands. Our vision for Gyris is this sort of Skyrim-sized world, so massive. We're talking hundreds of thousands of hectares worth of land, which is fucking so cool. So there really is so much to build, but we will release parts of the map as we go. So starting with Duara, which is a fairly central part of the Boerlands and is really the focus for a lot of the first film, or Duara and the kind of the dark forest. Naikoistad, all of these kind of places around Duara. It's mostly centered around there, and then down towards Morandu and the flatlands. But the first releases will be stuff around Duara. And what's really important to know is that you guys all get land. So every NFT gets some land. So probably you can't see, I don't know if you can see my little cursor here, but there's a little guy right down there. He's a little borer. So let me take you to the next screen. So each one of these little squares is 1 square meter. Every Bura or every Genesis NFT will get a 5x5 plot, free with their like link to their Bura. And you can see this little guy, he's cruising around and he's like ready to make his claim, and he's thinking this hill will be sweet. I need a bit of a hill. I'll create my little hut. I've got some trees nearby, but I've got a clearing. I can build a mad little hut here. So this is showing you that sort of grid. So you can imagine a 5x5 about that size there. So that's only really enough for a cool little small hut. You know, this guy's a bachelor, but you can imagine if you have 6, or you've got 9, or you've got 10 or 20 or whatever it might be, that collecting your Bura or your Genesis NFTs together, you can start to form a little village. So the idea with land, again, as with everything, we're trying to do something that's really novel and different and change the fucking game. So the idea is that you guys will be the first settlers. The early buyers, so the buyers of the Bura, will be the first wave of settlers in Gyris. And there'll be a map release where you'll see patches of areas that can be settled, and the order in which you can choose will be dependent on how many of you've collected together. So not just who has the biggest bags, but how many wallets, how many different users are you collecting together to form a community, to form a village, to form a larger tribal group, or perhaps even like a proper city stronghold. When you combine together, you can access these larger estates. You will still have your individual plots within them. So you can sell later, you can sell your plot within some fucking awesome estate that's been bought in prime position. Trucks just driving past right now. So our earliest members that have been in there, that have been having conversations in the Discord, building communities, saying, fuck, that looks like a really sweet spot on the map. There's an awesome river running through there. It's under a mountain, got some trees, not too far from the center, whatever you might think, will be the shit. You can sort of choose to live there, build an awesome community together. Now, at different stages of size, you'll be able to unlock these unique communal NFTs. So it's not the case that these plots that you can see here, that they're all stacked next to each other. You need to be able to kind of move around. So they'll be situated in a way where, you can have your individual hut, but you can move around your little estate. But as you get larger groups, there will be larger communal areas included within the estate. So it's not as simple as saying, well, there's 100 of us, so we have this big sort of 10 by 10 estate. Those estates will include another sort of section, probably in the middle, depending on the size, maybe multiple ones, that are communal spaces that are formed because you've formed a community. And in those places, as a community, you can access these NFTs that are only available to groups that have larger numbers. This is to emulate the real world, what we feel like real world Gyris would be. Gyris is very much analogous to our own world. They're just, as you've heard me say before, they've just started from a different sort of evolutionary position, but evolved very much the same, but just started with a different mixture, and have had different sort of elements that have pushed them this way and that. So it makes sense that if you're going to build something really fucking cool, some kind of monument, that you would need quite a few people. So to be able to unlock and to be able to work towards something like that, you need to have formed one of these kind of estates. So this is really early days stuff, obviously. Jeff's just mocked up this grid, but what we'll eventually have is really, you'll be looking down on something a lot bigger than this, and you'll be able to identify where you as an individual or where you as a group want to start forming your communities. I hope that made sense. There'll also be, outside of the Genesis collection, there'll be land sales. So let's just say you want more land. You can also do that. You can have a place in multiple locations, which I'm sure people will want to do when they start to see the releases of different locations. Morandu, when it's made, is going to be full of underground mines and palaces and all sorts of really cool shit. Even within the Boerlands, Sval is like, it's up in the mountains, it's the snow and it's the ice. That type of location is very different to the jungles of Duara or Aku. Duara and Aku will be somewhat similar, but you'll find that in Aku the structures will be slightly different. They're more kind of brutal, warring tribe, so there's a lot more sort of defensive stuff going on, whereas Duara is a much more open, I would say, loving society. Then you have Motun, which is again really, really open and fucking laid back, but it's a completely different environment. It very much looks coastal, and it is Motun is sort of part of this interesting peninsula that has been created into an island. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'll show you all one day. But it has its own sea. That sea drops at its edge as if it's the end of the world, drops down sort of 1,500 meters down into the sea. So Motun is like coastal, but at elevation, but the sea is so large that they appear to be on the sea. So there's a lot of, they have boats, they kind of sail, they fish. They're like a seafaring culture, despite technically not being one. So there'll be heaps of different places that people can go, and you'll be able to sell in and out of your land. But if you establish yourself as part of a estate, then you're selling a plot within that estate. So that feels to me like the best move, because you can together build something really great. the idea for the kind of communal mechanics of Gyris is that, as you know, and we plan to do this with a mini game on the lead up to the major game, that the major release, that you'll be working together to have to work out, you know, how much food do we need to survive here? You know, like, is this good soil? You know, how many of us need to work the fields to provide enough food? That sort of dynamic allows, you know, someone asked me, you know, I think it was Chief Bisol in the Discord was asking me, like, you know, like, are we thinking about mass adoption? Absolutely. You need to have a barrier of entry that's very low, if not free, for people first coming in to experience the game. Someone coming in to the game will be able to, for a very low cost, have like a really basic Bura or Mara or Mingieri or Dawa, you know, when they come online, and they will be really low stats, but it'll allow them to move around to experience. They won't own any land, but they'll be able to do some work, and they'll be able to work to earn Gyris, to upgrade themselves, to earn experience, to get better and better. We hope that this will be the thing that drives a lot of players. As I said, the plan is for hundreds of thousands of hectares eventually. So there's enough room for so many people to come in and be a part of Gyris. But let's just say you have an awesome estate and you guys are a bunch of OG ballers, and you don't want to spend whatever energy you have tilling the fields, but there's a whole bunch of players that have come in that perhaps they couldn't afford to come in, you know, and get the NFTs, or at that time the price is too high for them to just kind of come in and get someone that's fucking legit awesome. So they come in and they're looking for jobs, they're looking for work to increase experience and increase the amount of Gyris that they can earn, so that they can upgrade or eventually buy one of your NFTs or someone else's. So that creates this again, this world that's analogous to our own world. You know, if you're there and you establish yourself and you set yourself up well, you create freedoms for the other parts of life that are less about the manual labor and having to kind of work your way up. You'll have more opportunities to explore and og race and bet folks and do all that shit. So, man, as with everything, you know, we always say it in the Discord, fuck, man, people sleeping on us. This is just another way that we're doing things differently. You'll be able to buy huts or build huts. You know, there'll be sort of the ability to do both. You'll be able to use the things around you to create stuff, but there'll be certain like kind of exclusive NFTs that you can have access to by spending Gyris. So again, you'll get airdrop Gyris just by being a holder. You'll be able to earn Gyris through in-game rewards. There's a sizable amount of the token allocation that will be part of in-game rewards, as well as staking rewards. So if you're someone who's staking and playing the game in different ways, you know, that's so far, again, we're still getting through the nuts and bolts of the tokenomics, but that's going to be at least half the supply is going to be accessible through in-game rewards and through like staking rewards. So there's heaps of opportunities too, just by being involved and just by being early, and doing all the cool shit, you know, putting yourself in a great position to be able to access those NFTs through your Gyris. Yeah, fuck yeah. Anyone's got any questions, hit me up. And you know where I'll be, sitting, doing my thing. As you can see, we got it's a script in the background. Someone's like zooming in, trying to read it. It's the first draft. All right. Peace out. How do I stop this thing? Diggy, where are you?